I may have had a UFO sighting as a young child. Greetings. I've stated earlier that for the longest time I thought of myself as a skeptic. Who wants to believe? But recently I felt comfortable enough to think of myself as a believer who is still very skeptical. I think I'm finally ready to talk about a brief experience I had that I only recently talked to someone about for the first time in my life. Not because of shame or stigma, but because I am finally willing to entertain that maybe something more happened with me than I ever cared to admit or even realized. It was a super brief experience, and it was an experience I am not sure I even had. I live in Lebanon, and at the time, how ironic that we're kinda back to square one now in terms of blackouts and power outages. I was at my grandma's house and it was in the middle of the night. And for whatever reason, my extended family was on the other side of the apartment chilling. It might have been Ramadan, and might have been during shower, which is basically a time before you start your fast and eat and drink. Long story short, I was on a balcony. I look up, and I see a disc oval-shaped UAP that, as absurd as it sounds, looked to be the size of football field lol. Now here's my problem. In the years I've been into this topic, especially as a skeptic, I've read so many accounts of people so crystal clear about what they saw. No second guessing. No equivocation. Not a single doubt in their mind, and often experiences that lasted many seconds or even minutes. Not the 2 to 5 seconds I experienced. And so for me, even in my mind, I never categorized this as a sighting because my experience or a memory of one, false as it may be, doesn't have any of the features of a good sighting. So I dismissed it. And in fact, had completely forgotten about it until about 2 years ago, I think. I may have slipped in a comment or two about it here since, but did not expand like I am now. And the main reason I am making this post is because I have also read a lot of accounts. Talk about how they just forgot about the sighting for years, and also accounts about lost time. I don't want to just ask, is it possible I had a real sighting? And I am not imagining it. But, simply put, of course it is possible even if I have very little confidence. My question is really like more. Can any of you help me explain if there might be actual plausibility to what I experienced? Or seem to have a memory of experiencing? I am well versed in psychology, and so when I started to think about this topic and this experience, I interpreted it as false memory stemming from a childhood with a very active imagination. Furthermore, the more I think about it, the more I am being able to access emotions from that day that seem to be a combination of awe and terror. But I also interpret that as me just creating a memory based on the reports I read. For a while now, I've wanted to talk about this in more detail, but given all the fascinating posts that are made, I never thought this was interesting enough. But I am curious to hear your thoughts. And curious to know if any of you have had any similar experience, or attitude toward it, as I do. I just think it is super strange that I may have had a sighting. I am convinced I probably made it up in some way or another. Yet I can't shake the feeling that there's more to this, even if I am extremely reluctant to take it seriously. And am way more inclined to believe this is just made up on my part. Post from user kindness has no cost at Reddit.